How's it going, everybody? My name's Lee, and today I'm going to show you One Stop Shop. This is a Spigot plugin that I've actually been working on for several months, and basically what it does is it opens up a GUI menu and it allows you to sell and buy items through it. And this is really great for economy servers because it does have built-in vault support, or you can use the built-in item economy. But in this video I'm actually going to show you how to use the Vault version of it. Possibly I'll have a separate video on the item economy side of it, but that's also going to be updated in the future with a banking system, so look forward to that. Basically what we're going to do at the beginning of the video is show you how to use it in game, and then at the end of the video I'll show you how to use it in the configs and how you can do that. But luckily most of the commands that you can operate in game are fairly easy to understand and get the plugin working. So the first command is going to be /shop, and that's going to actually bring up the main menu of the plugin. Once you have that menu open, you'll basically be listed with a bunch of category items. These items can have sub-menus, or they can connect to shops directly, and these shops will have unlimited pages in which you can select items. So let's jump into shops first. Let's click on fireworks here, and this is a regular shop menu, and right now there's only one item in the menu, and you can see here you can go back and forth. If there was enough items to go to the next page, it would go, but in this case it does not. So if we click it, it'll bring it into the transaction interface, and here you'll be able to buy the item from amounts of 1, 8, and 64, or buy inventory, sell inventory, and same for the sale. So pretty neat. All these items are configurable, and you can configure the title. You can't configure the location of the items on this menu, unfortunately, but all the other menus, maybe aside from this one, you can configure it, and you can configure like the text and stuff like that, but I'm just talking purely the location. But anyways, we'll go back into here and show you the submenus. So submenus, basically you can make unlimited menus. You can put a menu inside a menu inside a menu, and you can do this unlimitedly, depending on how much work you want to put into it. But basically, instead of putting a shop, which I will show you in the config later on, you would put a sub menu, and this would connect to another menu, which you can put whatever items you want to put. You can set the location and the lore and everything that you'd like to put for the category. In this case, we actually have it opening up another menu inside of a menu, so you guys can see how that could be unlimited, because if you can do that once, of course you can do it over and over. So if we click inside this one, it actually connects to a shop, and it's dirt. We can go ahead or buy and sell that. So now that I've talked a bit about the menu and kind of how the system works, I'll start showing you guys the commands. So the main command is shop, like shown before, but if we do any type of variation that's not available, you'll be able to see all the commands you could run. And what's cool about this help system is if you don't have permission for a command, it won't show you the tab complete for it, and it won't actually show you in this menu. So you don't have to worry about that as a server owner. Kind of nice little feature there. And the next command is shop open, and here you can open a menu directly, or you can open up a shop inside that menu. So I guess we'll do that first, and we opened up the food category, and then we can select it and buy it, all that good stuff. But if we wanted to just do a menu, let's do a custom menu, we can open up that directly as well. We can go back, go buy another item, all connected. So very cool. If we go on to the next one, that's just reload, super simple. If you're working in the config and you make some changes really quick, you can just boom, reload. It's gonna be all updated and nice. So the next one is remove and add. So I guess we'll do add first. So let's go ahead and grab an item, grab some new 1.16 items, and yeah, work with that. So the first command I'm going to show is shop add, and it's going to give you all the shops that are available that you've put in the configuration. In this case, there are a bunch of default ones. If you want to use those or create your own, But again, at the end of the video, I'll show you how to do that in the configs. But in this case, we're just going to pick the end shop, and we're going to set the sell value to, let's do 10, and then the buy value is 500. Boom, and that added it to the shop, and it added that item because I was holding it. So you only have to specify the shop, sell, and buy. So now if we actually go into the end shop, you'll see the item, and this updates live, so you don't actually have to reload anything if you do it this way. And as you can see, the buy value is 500 and the sell value is 10. There you are. And let's go ahead and remove that item, which is just as simple. We're going to go to the end shop, and we just have to be holding the item. We don't have to specify anything. Boom, it is removed. And if we go back into the end shop, you can see it's removed there. Doesn't really get easier than that. Now, as far as like the location of where they sit, you can move this around in the configuration, or you can add them in order. It's really up to how you input it. But yeah, it basically loads it from which one is in the configuration first. So keep that in mind. All right, let's check out the next command, and let's just get the help menu back up here. Item info. So this is great if you're working in the config, maybe working on one of the category menus, and you're like, what is that item ID? Well, you can run that command, shop item info, while holding the item, and it's going to give you the display name of it, and it's going to give you the ID, and you would use that ID in the configuration. And do keep in mind that this plugin uses a API, which is called X series, and basically it reads all those IDs off that system versus the bucket system. And it's all kind of updated to the 1.16 names. So if you're using 1.8, you would still use the ID that this system gives you. Otherwise, it's not going to know the item for the most part. Actually, in some cases, it will translate it. But if you want to have 100% accuracy, just go ahead and use this command, and it's going to give you the correct ID. And the next command is sell. Pretty straightforward. Sells the item in your hand. Now the next one is sell all, so let's go ahead and get a couple of those ones in here. And we actually didn't add this to the shop, so let's go ahead and do that real quick. And now that it's added, now we can sell it. And if we do sell all, it's going to sell all the items of the item I'm holding, as you saw there. And yeah, so that's pretty neat. If we go down to the next command, that's sell one. So sell one has a few arguments. You can just plainly do it like this if you're an admin and you have this permission. You can get it, and you can configure the lore and the title and the configuration. It also comes with a nice little enchantment with a hidden flag. But basically, this does what traditionally sell ones do. They sell the items of a chest. And this actually works on shulker boxes, barrels, trap chests, and regular chests. So pretty much any container in the game. So what are we missing here? Oh, yeah, barrel. All right. So we get these guys down here, and let's go buy an item from the shop that we sell. Get a bunch of that. Throw it in here. Throw it in here. There we go. So to use this, it's pretty dang simple. You just right click, there you go, and I'll let you know if there's anything of not value. Anything that isn't currently being sold, it won't actually take from it. Oh, was that one actually being sold? Let's use one that isn't. There we go. So if we put that in there, do it, boom. So that one's not being sold, so it skips over it, and it'll tell you, nothing's of value. Also, if you're using maybe Townie or grief prevention or factions or any of those type of plugins that have land claim, if they're not able to interact with the block with that plugin, it'll actually check for that and it'll cancel the event. At least it should. And they won't be able to sell on that land. So basically, they have to own the land or be able to interact in the land to use the wand on their chest. So it does check for that. So as I was saying a bit ago, it has a few args. You can specify the amount if you want to give yourself, let's do 64, and then you can specify a user, and this works in console as well. If you, wanted to give this out for a donation or maybe a crate of some sort, you could do that because you can run it through the console. You just have to specify, some placeholder for the online player. But yeah, we'll just specify me, boom, and I have been given, 64 cell one. So pretty neat. Our next command is shop spawner, and this one you do have to specify an entity type, and it does support all entity types. In this example, I guess we'll do cow, and you can just leave it like that, and it will give you a cow spawner. Or just like the cell one, you can specify an amount or a target player, and it also supports it in the console. I guess while we're talking about spawners, I can show you the system a bit. If we actually grab a pickaxe and we go ahead and enchant that with some silk touch, we can break it, and then it will give me the spawner. And I was in creative, and it does check for creative. You can just break it normally in creative, but I guess I'll show it to you in survival. There you go. We're on to the last, very last command, and that is worth. So let's go ahead and buy that, and let's just get the worth of the item, and that is done with shop worth, and that just simply tells you the item name and the worth of the item. So yeah, that's everything that you can do in game with the plugin. Currently, I do have plans on maybe adding like a menu, in-game menu editing system. Just kind of like what we have currently with shops, but that is in the future because it is a little bit more complicated and a lot more work. So we'll see how the plugin does. If it does well, I definitely am looking at getting that implemented. And as far as custom items from maybe like custom plugins and stuff like that, go ahead and message me. There are some ones I want to support. I haven't got to all of them yet, but I want to support some custom items from other custom plugins, mainly like item adder and stuff like that, where it adds in like a whole, special type of item with persistent data and all that crazy stuff. But anyways, let's jump into the configuration of this, and yeah, I'll meet you there. All right, I have my server pulled up here now, and I'm going to show you how to install the plugin. I'm going to show you how to install it for a vault install and a independent item economy install, which comes with the plugin. So if we go into the plugins folder here, all you have to do is drop in the jar, and if you want to do the vault install, you'll install a vault, and then you'll install the economy handler. In this example, we're going to be using essentials as our economy handler. So yeah, once you've done that, go ahead and reload your server, and you'll get a bunch of folders. Go ahead and open up One Stop Shop, and here are all the files for the plugin. Let's go ahead and open up the first one, and I'll just go down one by one and kind of tell you what's going on here. So the value format is what the value is going to look like in chat and inside the GUI menus. So for example, if you wanted the format to have decimals, you can change the format like that. But go ahead and Google it. You can look at all types of different formats you can do in Java and stuff like that. Same thing with the amount format. The currency format is how it's going to be laid out in chat. If you wanted the currency symbol behind, or if you wanted to do an item economy, you can do that as well. I guess we'll go ahead and example that. Let's go ahead and change that to emerald. So now I'll show you this one once we get in game. But basically, it's going to change the chat and everything to display the value as an emerald. But yeah, so the economy material is the item that you actually want for the item economy. In this case, it's emerald. The spawner drop chance is the chance of spawner dropping out of a percent. 100%, it'll always drop. Some people like that, so I gave the option. Yeah, you can adjust that how you'd like. Menu click delay is how fast a player or any user can click the menu. That's also in ticks, so if you do 20, that's 1 second, etc., etc. Filler glass, that's like the glass on the transaction menu. That's the glass in the main menu, and you'll be able to toggle that in the settings as well. But this is where you would actually change, what type of glass or item that you want to display. The interface materials, those are all the configurable items that you can change. The sounds, those are all the configurable sounds you can change. The wands, currently we only have one wand, and you can change the material here. In the lang file, you'll actually be able to change that. So let's go ahead and save, and let's go open lang. So lang, it's fully translatable. It can do Unicode, pretty much whatever you'd like. These little brackets right here are the variables in which the plugin will read. So like the first variable, second variable, stuff like that. You can change, you know, how they look with the color coding, the regular Minecraft color coding. Menus. This is where things heat up a little bit, I guess you could say. Menus. Let's go ahead and actually drop those, or pull those up. So these are like the keys for the menus, and you put all your menus under menus. So the first menu is item menu. Now, item menu has a couple things in it. Main menu is set to true. Obviously, I hope it's obvious. It's the main menu of the plugin. So anytime you run /shop, that's the menu that's going to pop up. So you can put this on any of them. Just make sure it's just on one of them. But I like to keep it the first one. Just makes more sense to me. Title of what it's going to look like in the GUI menu, the size of the GUI, and then the items in the GUI. So these are listed with keys of numbers. So you want to make sure that it's a different number. You don't have to go in order, but you know, it's better that you do. But yeah, let's go over one of these items. So you can put the name of the item. That's what it's going to display inside of the Redstone shop, and what the item is going to display. The material, whatever material you want, the menu slot that you want in that menu, and then the lore of the item. So the shop is what you're going to direct it to, which shop it actually is. So that I will actually show you in just one moment. But if you scroll down here to the very end, you'll start seeing, you should see one that says submenus. So submenus are menus that you can put inside of menus, and you can do this unlimited times. But basically, you just, instead of putting shop, you put submenu, and then you specify the menu. So that menu is this one right here. So it's the custom menu. So when that item or that item category is clicked, it'll open up this menu. So when that's open, it's going to start generating these items, which you can, you know, put in however you like. In this case, in this example, it opens up another submenu, and that's this menu. And then this menu opens up a shop called Test Shop. So yeah, not much more to explain with that really, but if you check out my website, I have all the configs in there, and it kind of explains everything a little bit more in depth. But yeah, let's go ahead and move to settings. Settings pretty straightforward. The filler glass, which I was talking about a bit ago, is the filler on the main menu and the transaction menu. You can toggle those completely off or on, depending on how you like to style it. The economy, that's where you're gonna actually like toggle off vault. So I'm gonna show you how to do the item economy one. So we'll go ahead and change that to true, and that's all you got to do as far as changing the economy of the plugin. Pretty neat. Spawners, if you wanted to use a different spawner plugin, you would just disable all these, but these are basically all the checks it has currently. If it's enabled, then you can just simply turn that to false, or you can turn them all to false, just to be 100% safe, but should be all good in that department. But you could deny mob eggs, so basically, you know, changing it with a mob egg if you sell mob eggs. Deny anvil rename if it's in an anvil, you know, they can't rename the item and stuff like that, making it all silly. And explode drop, so basically if a TNT or a creeper comes by and it explodes, it's not just going to break, it'll actually drop like a normal item kind of thing. Cool, we'll go ahead and save. And the last one, shops. So shops is where you're going to define all your shops that you want inside the plugin. Right now I have quite a few default ones in there, and you can go completely delete these or do whatever you want with it. It's just kind of showing you how to actually use it. So now that we have all the keys kind of pulled up here under shops, I can kind of lay it out and show you how it works. So here's where you would define the shop, and I guess you really define it in here because you're directing it. So redstone shop, it opens up the redstone shop. So that's where you define it. And then this is where you would put all your items, and the items load depending on which one is put in first. Honestly, with this, I really suggest you use the in-game system. It makes it a whole lot easier, especially with like custom items and stuff like that. But if you really want to, you can do it manually, and it's really as simple as copying it, going over 2 spaces, changing that to a 2, and then, you know, putting whatever block you want. And you can use item info in game to get that block. Or did I say grass block? That's what I meant. But yeah, that's how you would do that. And if you go down here to like firework, you can kind of see like some of the custom bits it has. You can define a firework and give it its flicker or its trail or some colors, which are RGB based. Pretty cool, and it supports every item in the game: banners, shulker boxes, enchanted books, spawners, even dyed armor. I guess the last thing to show you in this file is like creating a new shop. Pretty easy. You would just copy another one, honestly, and then, you know, rename it to whatever shop you want. Make sure it has a menu, go into it, put in its items, and you're good to go. So we'll just go ahead and save there, and that is that. So let's go ahead and reload, because we did kind of set up the item economy during this tutorial. So let's go ahead and see what that looks like now. If you do /shop, go in here, now you can see I need 100 emerald to buy 1 diamond. Pretty expensive, but that's okay. We'll go ahead and get some here just to show you how it works. So it is like a physical based item economy currently. So I do have plans for an add-on to basically have like a banking system that'll work with like MySQL and a couple other things like that. So but for now, if you do that and you change it over to the item economy and select emerald, it would work like that. And if you sold it, it would give you the physical item. So pretty neat. And yeah, that's really all I have to show, guys. Thank you so much for sticking in this long tutorial. I really do appreciate it. I do have like I was saying earlier ago, I do have a free version and I do have a premium version. The free version doesn't have nearly as many features as the premium, so I really highly recommend considering it. Please give the video a like if you appreciated all the info I gave you on it. If you have any suggestions at all, please let me know, and I hope you have a great day.